Hey everyone, I'm Jay Shear and welcome to Business Minds Coffee Chat. The goal of this show is to share insights, help to lift and inspire others, and deliver relevant, meaningful, and actionable content. It's been said that when you focus on the good gets better. What we focus on becomes our reality, the lens through which we experience life. It affects our actions and behaviors. Our guest today is a message-driven entrepreneur who's focused on the good, finds positivity, inspiration, and hope in any situation, and helps entrepreneurs attract their ideal buyers and grow their business through building a thriving community. He's a husband and father, the author of the book, Your Number One Goal, and a contributing author in Jack Canfield's Living the Success Principles. He's an award-winning motivational speaker, a Jack Canfield certified success coach, a singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist, and a lover of all things Disney. On top of all that, he hosts a weekly inspirational speaker series. Please welcome the founder of the Speakers, Authors, and Coaches Network, and the man who uses his skills and talents to make the world a better place, Jake Ballentine. Jake, welcome.
Hey, how you doing? I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm doing fantastic, and thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, Jake, let's jump right in. Share with us, if you will, where does your story begin? And at what point did you discover your passion for self-improvement and the power of focusing on the good?
Well, it's really hard to say where it started because there's a bunch of different iterations of where this started, where this whole thing started. But I'll kind of share about my entrepreneurial journey and where that started. So for me, it started, back when I was in college. I said, okay, I want to be a full-time musician. That's what I wanted to do for my career. And I wanted to, like a lot of people, I was playing shows in college and doing that kind of thing. And it was going really well. And I wanted to go and build a business around it. But for me, music was always about promoting a positive message, not so much about being a star. It was about promoting a positive message. So I said, okay, I'm going to start diving into marketing, because I knew that if I wanted to be able to actually make a living playing music, I needed to understand marketing. I needed to develop myself personally. I needed to really build my mindset to a level to where I could succeed. And I started taking marketing courses. I started doing every personal development course I could do, but it was all for the purpose of building my music business. Well, I was able to make a full-time living playing music for several years, but while doing it, I had the idea of, well, I guess really it came down to, I didn't feel like I was achieving my goal of making a difference, using music to make a positive difference, while I was essentially being paid to entertain drunk people. That was kind of the thing. And so I had this idea. I said, well, what if I use this tool and started combining it with all the stuff I've been learning about personal development, and started going to high schools and middle schools and youth leadership conferences. And it just kind of started out of this idea. And, before I knew it, I was speaking at different high schools, middle schools, youth leadership conferences all over the country every single week, doing, somewhere between 50 to 70 different engagements a year all over the country, hired in 43 different states doing this, probably, well over 500 times. And all of that started because I wanted to build the music business. But really, I found this whole new love. And even when I was doing that in schools, I was more in love with the personal development side of things. And the music was just a tool to get them to listen. And then since then, it's evolved and it's shifted and it's changed. And I really found that as much as I still, do music as a hobby, and I still enjoy it and I still love it, but my passion shifted over that time, really about personal development, really about, helping people grow. And that's kind of where it started and evolved from there.
Interesting. Well, a couple of things. First, I love your guitar playing. So
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've listened to a couple of different songs of yours. I know you've put out some recordings, and
Yeah.
listened to one recently, and you were playing slide guitar, and man, you can really play. So and I appreciate that. I'm
Well,
a
thank
musician
you.
myself, so I love that talent. The second thing that you hit on that I wanted to just unpack a little bit. So who were some of the early mentors that you had in the self-development space? So when you kind of go back and you think about what was it that gravitated you toward that type of mindset, who were some of the earlier influences?
Yeah, so when I first started out, I was just trying to get anything I could get my hands on and start to learn and do those kind of things. And so some of the very first people, there are people who still are people I look up to and get a lot out of. So I purchased a big giant box set of a Tony Robbins audio program that was 30 CDs, so it's basically 30 hours long. I got real into Jack Canfield's work at the beginning, reading the book, The Success Principles, um, a lot of stuff by Dr. Stephen Covey, listened to a lot of Les Brown stuff. Those kind of things is really what I got into. When I started getting into more of the marketing kind of thing, understanding marketing, Brendon Burchard was a big part of that at the beginning, learning from him. Those are like the very first, at that very beginning stages. When I wanted to get into speaking, I went, okay, I'm going to do this with the youth market. So I'm going to go to the best. I'm going to go to someone who knows what they're doing. And so there was a guy named Josh Shipp who was really the top of the market in the youth market at the time. And so I wanted to learn everything I could from him. So I went out to a seminar he was hosting, hired him as a personal coach, spent basically every dime I had to be able to do that because I wanted to invest in myself and I knew that it would be worth it. In fact, it's a story I share all the time whenever someone wants to work with me as a coach. And if they say they don't have the money, I go, look, I get it. I invested way more money than I had. And because of that, because I invested in the training, by the end of the year, it was my full-time career, full-time career, less than a year, speaking all over the country, using music to promote a positive difference. And that just happened. But it doesn't happen if you don't invest in yourself. I'm a firm believer in that. When I talk to someone about working with me, I never am a hard salesperson. I'm not a like a in your face hard salesperson. And what I mean by that is it's never about me. It's about you need to get the help. And they say, I don't have the money. Well, great. You don't need to have the money to give to me, but you need to find the money to give to someone because you need to get help if you want to do this. You need to get help, and the more help you can get, the better. And so find a way. Use it as your first goal. Your first step is find a way to be able to do this. Just like if you're going to go to college. I mean, people, if they have a career they want to do, you got to get training. And so it's either going to take you, years and years and years of trial and error, or you can go to someone who knows what they're doing. And so I just say, find a way, whether it's me or someone else, I don't care. Just find a way and make it happen.
Yeah, I love that. That's very sound advice. And, we see examples of that all over the world of folks that are hiring coaches, no matter what discipline you're in, and how that can help you exponentially grow your skills and become better at what it is you're trying to accomplish. So I love that. Thank you for sharing it. So you touched on this. How does mindset play a role then in your life?
It's everything. Recently I was talking to someone who was saying like, oh, I don't want to deal with all that fluff. I want to just really let's just really get to strategies and tactics. And I go, great. But without the mindset, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to do anything. And there's a great line by Les Brown. He says, if knowing what to do was all we needed, we would all be skinny and rich. And that's true.
Yeah.
No, that's true. It's not the knowing. It's in the doing. And so to me, this is what mindset is. Mindset is about doing. Information is about, hey, I know something. Great. But do you know it or did you just hear it? And that's what happens to so many people. They just hear it and then they don't do anything about it. And mindset is when we get into doing. Because if you don't have your mindset right, you're going to self-sabotage yourself. You're going to quit before you get to the result. There's a great book. I think it's called 112 Degrees, 111 Degrees. I can't remember. What's the degree that water boils? Is it
Yeah.
112?
Yeah. I believe it. I know exactly what you're
Or
talking
it's
about. Yeah.
111. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But there's a book that, have you seen this book? It's just a little coffee table book. And the idea is, let's just pretend it's 112. Someone's going to correct me in the thing, but basically I think it is, but doesn't matter. Point is that at 111 degrees, water is just hot and it doesn't do anything. But at 112 degrees, it creates steam, and that steam can move a locomotive.
Mm.
Now, the point being is, how many people quit at 100 degrees? How many people quit at 110 degrees? How many people quit 1 degree off? And if you don't have the mindset right, you're going to quit long before you get there. And so I believe that success is 80% mindset, 20% strategy. The strategy is actually a small portion of success. The mindset is so much more. And you're wearing a shirt that says motivated right now. I love that. For whatever reason, right now, the term motivation is being kind of, I don't know if you notice this, it's being kind of vilified. Oh, I don't need motivation. I need discipline. I don't need motivation. If you need I need focus, not motivation. And I think that doesn't understand. People are not understanding what it is. They're not understanding what it is, because the truth is everybody has motivation. Everyone. The person who's sitting on the couch eating chips and watching a show, they have motivation to do what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I think we need to actually focus on what is motivating you and what is motivating you to do what. And that's about mindset. That's about psychology. What is motivating you to act in whatever way that you're acting? And what can you shift in that motivation so that it will push you in a different direction? So in my mind, motivation, mindset, that's everything. And that's why I focus on this idea of focusing on the good, is because if you want to succeed, you have to have the audacity to be positive enough to think that an absolute failure was a success in some way. And if you don't, you won't keep going. So you have to see something that was an absolute train wreck and be able to pick out the good things that came from it, or else you won't do it again, and you won't do it again, and you won't do it again. Because what success really takes is longevity. It takes longevity. It's a great quote by Winston Churchill. He says that true success comes from being able to move from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm.
So what a powerful quote. And the funny thing is, my wife actually mentioned that quote to me just days ago. And it's one of those things that we have to remind ourselves about. Same thing with having a positive mindset, being able to look for the solutions versus getting lost in the negativity and being closed off to where those opportunities are. It's like motivation. And I believe Zig Ziglar may have said it, that motivation is something that we have to do every day. It's like showering or bathing.
Yeah.
You don't do it one time and you're clean, right? We have to focus on the good. We have to read positive materials. We have to have good conversations like this in order to stay motivated, in order to stay driven, and be able to continue to move forward and accomplish the things that we want to accomplish that are meaningful to us.
Yes. I can tell you that my business changed the day that I dedicated myself. This is not some business strategy. It's the day that I dedicated myself to spending an hour every morning on my mindset. That's when everything changed. Like, it's not a strategy. It's not a tactic. I mean, I guess that is a strategy, but it wasn't a business strategy. It was, I needed to prime myself every single morning to be able to have that positive mindset, because sometimes we get overwhelmed, and we're humans. We're all humans. So Sunday night, it doesn't matter what the issue was, but Sunday night I was overwhelmed. Sunday night I was not feeling great. As this is being recorded, it's Tuesday morning right now. And I was not feeling good on Sunday night. I didn't feel great. But you know what I did Monday morning? Because everything refreshes. It starts over again. When you get a good night's sleep, you start over again. And I made sure to do my hour of power, to where I got up, I started moving, did breathing exercises. I did, physical workout, focused on the good. I put my mind on positivity. I went through a meditation that I go through pretty much every day. Sometimes I do a little variety of different types of meditations, but I did this meditation, got my mindset right, and then boom, ready for the day. And sometimes I got to do that stuff twice a day to be able to stick and focus on the good. Thing is having a positive mindset is not naive. That's what a lot of people think. Like, oh, yeah, whatever. I'm more of a realist. I'm more of a realistic person. No, it's work to have a positive mindset, because the natural inclination is to focus on the problems. Our brain is designed to protect us. So we focus on the problems so that we can protect us. But when we focus on the problems, we get more and more and more and more. They just come. They're like weeds. You don't have to water the weeds. The weeds just come. We do have to water the plants. You do have to water the things that you want to grow. And so the thing is we have to work to be able to have that positive mindset so that you can succeed, and so that you can put those tactics, that 20% strategy. Strategy does matter. It does matter. But if you don't have that most important part, you're not going to do any strategy. There's nothing that's going to help you.
How are you processing then what's happening in the world today, and how has your business been directly impacted?
First and foremost, I'd encourage everyone to focus on what they can control, not what you can't control. The recipe for stress and anxiety is trying to change what you cannot control. So I can't control what's going on. I can't control what's going on outside in the world. I can't control a virus. I can't control, all the things that are going on. And then people have forgot about the virus. They pretty much have forgot about coronavirus because of everything that's been going on with George Floyd and what's been going on with protests. And I am 100% supportive of the Black Lives Matter movement. It's something I'm quite vocal about and 100% supportive of it. But the point is that there has been so much disruption in our day-to-day lives and in our world that is normal. Now, I've committed to a focus on the good mentality, and I believe that all that is going on right now will be for the greater good, and that the world is going to be a better place. The world is going to be a better place post-coronavirus. The world is going to be a better place post everything that's going on right now. Not just, I don't even want to call it race relations, but I'm talking about human relationships and the value of human beings. I believe that it's going to be a better place after all of this. But when it comes to everyone's individual business, we got to look at what we can control and let go of what we can't. And so, look, I'll tell you exactly what happened at the beginning of this. At the beginning of this, panic set in for so many people. And when panic sets in, people go, how can I save some money? How can I save some money? People start dropping things that they deem as not essential. So I lost some clients, and the month of, half of March and April, things went way down. That absolutely did happen. But then at the same time, I said, what can I control? What can I focus? What can I focus on? What can I control? So I started focusing on what people really need. And I believe that in my market, so I run the Speakers, Authors, and Coaches Network. I run a coaching program that's associated with that, helping message-driven entrepreneurs build a business around their message. And what I started doing is focusing on what I believe the market needs. And the market does not need more marketers. They need leaders. And that people have not stopped spending money. They have just become more strategic of where they're going to put that money. And if they trust you, if they know you, if they like you, and they see you as a leader, then things start to change. So I started focusing on, one, me being a leader, but also focusing on helping my clients become leaders. And I can say, and I'm very grateful to say this, that then the month of May, not only things got back to where they were before everything started, but they actually increased from where they were before.
Interesting.
And so, yeah, I mean, not only did I come back, but also grew. And so I'm very grateful to say that business is going great. Business is going very well. But it comes from, and there was struggle. There was personally many dark nights of the soul, if you will, trying to figure out, how do I get through this? How do I navigate this? And how do I still show up as a leader for the people who I'm grateful for that chose to stay on, and then for the people who are going to come back, and then for the new people who are going to come. And so really, after that initial panic kind of settled in, people saw well, who's the person who's showing up every day in spite of this? Who's the person who's still showing up as a leader? And that's just that going back to mindset. This has taken an ironclad mindset. And I'm very proud of what I've done over the last 2 months or 3 months or however long this has been, who knows? But I'm very proud of it. And it's all come from really focusing so much more on that mindset, committing 100%. I can't miss a single day of that morning routine, that hour of power, to get my mindset right so that I can show up and not let the things that are going on affect me in the way that they could affect me if I was not protecting my mind.
Wow, that's awesome. So what does leadership mean to you?
Leadership means doing what matters to the people that you're leading, even if it doesn't help you. Leadership means doing the best that you can for the people in front of you. Leadership means taking a stand and doing what you believe is right, even if you don't know. It's not being afraid of, well, what if this doesn't work out? People need a leader. They just do. They need a leader. And it can be hard. It can be challenging. Here, I'm going to show you something that I just saw this online today, and I ended up posting it a couple other places. This is a picture. If you can see this here, it's a picture of a bunch of wolves in the snow. So it's a picture of a bunch of wolves in the snow.
Okay.
And the one in the front, the one in the very front, is leading this path. It's leading the path in the snow. And you probably can't see, but it's got its nose down and it's pushing this path. That leader is going through so much more than the other wolves that are following it, because they can go in that path. It's being willing to be that wolf. It's being willing to step up and to carve a path. And I was just talking with one of my peers right before this call, and we're talking about how we don't know what's going on. We're all in the same place in terms of nobody's an expert in how to do business in a COVID world. No one is. Or I guess all of us are. I don't know. We're all making it up, but it's being willing to blaze a trail. That's what being a leader is.
So tell me, what are you most proud
of? Coming up on 11 years with my wonderful wife, Caitlin. That's what I'm most proud of beyond everything. We're hitting 11 years of marriage next month. And I can say that beyond anything business, beyond anything, that's by far the thing I'm most proud of, is the relationship that we have and how strong it is. And we've gone through, of course, like everyone, we've gone through challenges. We've gone through ups and downs. We've gone through major life events, deaths and all sorts of things. And when doing that, I think that people either grow further apart or grow closer together. And we've just grown closer together. And that right there, I would not be doing any of the things that I'm doing if it wasn't for the support of my wife, and the support of my wife, not just now when I'm making money, but the support of my wife when we weren't, hey, I'm going to go and do this entrepreneur thing. And guess what? There's no guarantee of me making money. And I'm going to turn down 2 job opportunities that were coming to me. And I'm going to turn them down, and I'm going to just work full-time every day with no guarantee of money coming. And by the way, I don't know how we're going to pay rent next month. I don't know how we're going to, but we'll make it. I don't know how. And we did, but I would not have been able to do it if I didn't have her support behind me from the beginning. And that's something I'm really proud of, that it's, I'm really proud of her. I'm really proud that she has been the type of person that she supports me just as much today as she did when I was making nothing. And that's something that I cherish so much.
Wow, that's beautiful. And I have a very similar situation, and we're blessed. So let's talk about the group that you have created, the Speakers, Authors, and Coaches Network. That group right now is over 7,000 strong and continuing to grow.
Yep.
What was the impetus behind that group, and where do you see that group going?
So I started it just out of, I wanted to create a space for my peers. I wanted to create a space for my peers that we could connect and support each other and help each other. Now it's evolved into something much bigger than that, but that was the beginning of it. The beginning of it was just, hey, I've built all these relationships over, I was making my full-time living as a speaker and a coach for 7 years before I started this, so it's not like this wasn't where my business started. This is something I'd been doing professionally for a long time. And I said, I want to create a network of people um, who are all doing this. And then also people who are new in the market, and people who can share with each other, and people who can help each other.
Mm.
And that was the beginning of it. That was the beginning of it. But it grew and grew and created a life of its own. And so now I think we're 7,600, 7,600 is where we're at right now. And we're growing like crazy right now. We're growing 30 to 40 people a day that are just, coming in every single day.
Incredible.
And, it's definitely, we've hit a snowball. We've hit a snowball for sure. And it's really cool to see all those people coming in and be able to integrate with the community that we've built, with the culture that we've built. So we've built a culture that's all about giving and serving and connection. And if somebody doesn't fit that, it's not that we're trying to be rude, but they're not welcome in the group. They will be asked to leave. They won't be asked to leave. I'll just kick them out. Because that's what this group is about. It's about a place of service and giving. I mean, I could sell so much more in the group than I do, but I keep that, I keep that bridled because I don't want to set an example of what can be done in this group. I want to make sure that people see that I'm leading by example of serving, and other people serve. Where do I want this to go? I want the Speakers, Authors, and Coaches Network to be the number one resource for new and aspiring speakers, authors, and coaches, the number one resource for them, and then the number one community for new and also for experienced speakers, authors, and coaches, where they can connect with other people, build those connections. That's where we're going. That's where we're going. We already do. We've done an annual summit 2 years in a row now. Live events. People come. This past year, we had people coming from all over the world, of course, all over the United States. People from Canada, England, Ireland, Australia, coming into LA for this event. And so it's just going to grow and grow and grow. My plan was February for the next one. That's what it's been. It's been February every year. I think 2021, we're going to wait a little bit until the summer just to make sure that, just to make sure it happens. Who knows what's going to happen next year. And I don't want to plan the event and have people buy plane tickets. It doesn't matter. We can wait a few months and just do it, after the season. And I think we can be clear on that. But that's the thing, like my intention for the third annual is that we have 500 people in this room, 500 people coming from all over the world, coming and having an incredible transformational 3-day experience. And so that's what I'm working towards every day. Like, this is not a short-term thing. This is a long-term vision, and it's something that drives me every day.
Oh, I love it. And it is clear from the moment that you engage with those that are in that group that it is truly all about service. It is all about helping one another grow, connecting others. And you've done a fantastic job and continue to do a fantastic job of creating opportunity for others to connect. So I love the approach that you take and the engagement that you have in that group, which is incredibly high. So I would encourage anyone that is interested in learning more about that to obviously check out that group.
Totally.
Matter of fact, we're going to be talking about ways that you can engage with Jake here momentarily. So before I do ask my last question, where can we go to engage with you, find out more about you, and consume your content?
Yeah. So, I'm of course, on every social platform, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and I'm there, Jake Ballentine. You can find me. Number one place to go, though, is come and join us in the Speakers, Authors, and Coaches Network. If you are an entrepreneur who is message driven, it's not just for speakers and coaches and authors. If you're any type of entrepreneur who wants to build a business around a message, it's the place for you to come and be a part of. So that's facebook.com/groups/speaker author coach. So you can come join us there. Then the other thing is the free gift for you guys. It's a free training about how you can grow your online audience organically. And this, you can go and get that it's speakerauthorcoach.net, like the Speakers, Authors, and Coaches Network, speakerauthorcoach.net/grow. So head over there. It's an hour-long training. We teach 6 different ways to organically grow your online audience. And these things just work. They just work for whatever platform you're using. So go and check that out.
Outstanding. Thank you very much for providing that to our audience. We'll link to those in the show notes here so everybody has access to it. I would highly encourage all of you to check out Jake's amazing content. You will not be disappointed. You will definitely learn quite a bit on how you can improve your business and grow as an individual. So, Jake, here's my final question to you. What one piece of advice have you received that's had the greatest impact on you personally?
I'm going to sit for a moment and think so I can give you the best answer that I can. The greatest advice that I was given personally was I failed out of college my first try. My first try in college, I was asked to leave and to not come back because of where my grades were. And I always struggled with school. School was something that was really hard for me. I'm really good at a lot of things, but I'm also dyslexic and grew up being considered learning disabled. And it was something that was a real struggle for me. But I had said, I'm not going to go to school. Like, screw that. They don't want me there. I don't want to be there anyway. Like, I don't want to do it. And so I was working. I became a missionary for my church, and I was doing this volunteer mission for a couple of years. And there was someone who was in charge of the whole group of people. And he was asking me about going to college, if I was planning on going to college or anything like that. I basically said, nah, it's not for me. I'm not really cut out for it. And he looks at me and just complete shock and was like, what are you talking about? How can you say you're not smart enough for that? I see the things that you're doing and you're an intelligent person. You're sure, whatever. Maybe the things in school, maybe that's not your zone of genius, but like, I see what you're doing. You're a smart person and you can do great things. I said, yeah, but school is not really my thing. And he said to me, he said, you know what? I don't actually care if you go to school, but I don't want you to go in life with the attitude of something got hard. And so I gave up and I quit. He said, because you quit, you need to go back. You need to go back, get tutors, get help, do everything that you can to overcome this. And it's probably going to be hard for you. It's probably going to be harder for you than maybe other people that is their strength. But you're going to go back and you're going to conquer this challenge. And the reason why is because if you don't, you will set a pattern for the rest of your life where when something gets hard, you will quit. And if you go back and you change this pattern, you will set a pattern of when something gets hard, you are going to find a way.
Wow.
And I did that, and it set me up for the rest of my life.
Great advice, and at the right time.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that story. That's amazing. And Jake, thank you very much for joining us today on the Business Minds Coffee Chat. I'm grateful for you, and I appreciate you sharing and giving of yourself and your insights.
Oh, you're welcome, Jay. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And for the rest of you, thank you very much for watching. If you found value in this episode, you know what to do. Please like and share with your friends and subscribe to this channel. And until next time, stay healthy and optimistic. Keep learning and growing. And remember that transformative change in your life and business begins with you, and nothing happens until you take action. We'll see you on the next episode of Business Minds Coffee Chat. Take care.